Hello and welcome to my Simpsons Hit and Run Iceberg video. While there exists images and videos of icebergs for this topic before, no disrespect, but I never really felt like it went nearly as in-depth as I wanted them to. So, here I am, making my own. And I've never really had the time to execute this video, so I have been collecting a lot of strange entries over the years. So there's a lot to go over. And there's many entries on this iceberg that I've not seen properly documented anywhere online. And this is going to be more of a jumping off point to anyone else who wants to research these further. So get something to snack on, get something to drink. We're going to be here for a while. So let's get started with layer 1. These are going to be nice and easy. If you've played this game before or been around, you should know a couple of these already. Probably one of the most well-known pieces of trivia about this game is that the hover car has completely different transparencies. On the PS2 and Xbox, they're the same. On the GameCube, they're completely different. On the PC, is different as well. So the light pole launcher is probably the most well-known glitch in this entire game. Basically, interact with any object that has its hitbox frozen when you get out of your car. You get back in and you kick it or jump on it. If it's inside your car, it will get launched up because the two hitboxes are inside each other and the game gets very confused. Carl Skip is a famous piece of speedrunning tech, ancient, where you push Carl inside the entranceway of the power plant, get out, talk to him, and then your car is inside of the power plant so you can cut back through the entire back half of the map and then talk to Burns to finish out level 1. The level 3 and 6 coin room by Krusty Lou Studios is the best place to get coins in the entire game. It's not even close. Basically, you kick all the boxes twice as to not break them, and then you mission warp to whatever mission you're at. That way it resets the counter on the boxes so you can come back, kick them all again, collect the coins, rinse and repeat. So, Flaming Tires, the level 7 bonus mission, has this weird bug that's only on early copies of GameCube and PS2, where you complete the mission, everything's fine, but then you can replay the mission, but the red exclamation point above Burns will be gone, and if you reload the level, then they'll be gone completely. So, kick launching is this weird physics bug. I couldn't find any real research on it, where if you kick or ground pound certain NPCs at a specific angle, I think they go flying up in the air. Quirk of the physics engine. The holiday menus are a couple of little Easter eggs. On Christmas and Thanksgiving, the main menu will be festive on those days. And what's cool is that this game originally released in September 2003, so there was a pretty good chance if someone got this, they couldn't counter this on Christmas or Thanksgiving. So around the back of the elementary school, there is a wall that if you jump onto it, you can clip through the ground and fall forever. This is only a thing in level 1, in level 4 and 7, this does not work, but you'd think a glitch like this would happen in level 7, but no, it's level 1 for some weird reason. Out of bounds in level 7 is possible, it's just kind of inconsistent to get it working. This is a speedrun tech where you crash into one side of the interior of the power plant, reverse brake up the side, go out into the rear of the map boundaries, and deliver the nuclear waste to complete the mission. It saves a lot of time. And the other way to get out of bounds in level 7 is using the horn jump cheat by the edge of the Springfield Elementary School. It's that simple. So if you've played Simpsons Road Rage, you probably noticed pretty quick that there's a lot of shared voice lines and assets between the two games. Here's a couple examples.
Woohoo! You should be in Cannonball Run! Way to ignore the speed limit!
And this isn't the only game to have shared assets with Simpsons Hit and Run. We'll get to that one later. This one. I'm pretty sure everyone's done this at least once. You kick Milhouse down a hill, and oh, there he goes. But the way he walks up is also really funny too. He just walks and then whoop, There he goes. And the water underneath the bridge being so poorly layered also, it just adds to it, man. It's just, this is just such a classic moment. I originally had this entry at the very bottom of the iceberg, but as it turns out, this is actually one of the most popular pieces of media surrounding this game. 2.6 million views, that's crazy. The gist of it is that you can go into the Wiggum's backyard, kick Ralph forever, and never get busted. Sneed in level 1. Yep, he's just standing right there. Yep, just hanging out. Another well-known piece of trivia about this game is there are many hidden objects hidden outside of the boundaries you can very easily get to, either using horn to jump, cheat, or otherwise. Let's take a look at some of the ones in level 1. Unused out-of-bound paintings, a bunch of really small windows, an out-of-bounds washing machine, and an out-of-bounds washing machine with a cow head on it. In level 7, the hearse has a texture of what appears to be a clock or a dial or something from the power plant, and this is only during the showroom texture. It's totally fine otherwise. And as we move on to level 2, the entries are going to get a little bit more obscure, but you could probably encounter a couple of these just by normally playing the game. The song Long Black Probes actually has a sample from a 1970s British television series called UFO. I hate to break it to you, but the RC car is the slowest in the game. Yes, even slower than the monorail. It just looks like you're going fast because the camera is very low to the ground. It's still better than the monorail though. For a few donuts more has a funny little bug where if you get hit by Chief Wiggum, you get busted. Well, not really. It just looks like you got busted. Nothing actually happens. Now, in the phone booth, it says that Snake's car is called Bandit. But if you look on the side of Snake's car, it's called Lil Bandit. Makes you think. The Springfield gasoline sign in level 3 has a typo. Instead of field, it's filed. So the phone booths on levels 3 and 6 are not transparent. On every other level, they are. You can't really unsee it once you've seen it. Jump zone is a phenomena that exists on some ramps where basically when you're going up, there's an invisible box, basically, that tells your car to go really fast. Now, there's another site where if you park your car in that zone, let it roll out of that zone while you're not in the car, the game gets confused and thinks you're still in the go fast, jump zone. So when you get out of it, your car will go really freaking fast. So this is the older brother of the Carl Skip. For Fat and the Furious, all you have to do is reverse at an angle towards the entrance of the power plant, reset and continue backwards towards Burns. The frame rate of the game affects the game's physics primarily on slopes and on collision detection. At very high FPSs, you will gain a lot of speed and slide up slopes. At low FPS, you can clip in and out of objects. It's cool. The Kremlin has a funny feature where the weight distribution is lopsided towards the left side because comic book guy is fat. Well, that's the joke. Now, I forget exactly where I saw this from. It was either my cousin or it was something I saw online. Basically, the bottom of level 2 at the highway section looks like one of those highway carpets you would play with as a kid. Can't really unsee it. So, level 5 has pretty much double the coin requirements from level 4, and the missions get significantly harder from here on out. If I can find the interview, I'll put it in the description, but I'm pretty sure it's basically confirmed that a lot of the difficulty in this game was because they needed to have a certain amount of run time. So they had speed bumps along the way so that we had to get more coins, you had to get a better vehicle, yada yada yada. Incentives for you to play the game beyond just the missions. This is a funny little piece of history. There's a promo hat for this game. You can still find them floating around online. I have one. I don't know where it is right now, but it's a cool little piece of history. It fits kind of tight though. Now, if you happen to live in the UK, you could have a chance to actually play this game's demo before it came out. In the publication The Sun, they had this special where you could actually get a copy of the demo of the game. Only the first 2 levels are playable, but it's cool that it exists, you know. This entry I alluded to earlier. The Simpsons skateboarding, while it doesn't share any models with Simpsons Hit and Run, shares a lot of voice lines. Let's take a listen.
Damn teenagers!
Whoa, wicked!
Another one! Coming through! There's my pelvis! Let's do this thing!
HitAndRunGame.com was the old domain for Simpsons Hit and Run. You can still look at it at the Wayback Machine, but it's kind of broken. I played around with it for a little bit to get some footage, but it's an interesting piece of history. There's some pre-development screenshots, some promotional material. It's just cool. You have to play around with it, a little bit of troubleshooting, but it's cool. So on the cover for The Simpsons Hit and Run, there is a blue shirt Bart, which is a classic Simpsons weird thing where some promotional material has a blue shirt Bart. There's different theories as to why. No one really knows for sure. But what's interesting about him in Simpsons Hit and Run is that Road Rage, he had an orange shirt, and Simpsons Skateboarding, he had an orange shirt. So why in Hit and Run he has a blue shirt, I don't know why, but I'm inclined to say it seems like a joke, because this is well after the blue shirt Bart thing was a thing. But I don't know. I don't think we ever will know. The game manual has a number of differences that are pretty easy to spot if you've played the game. Let's take a forensic look at it. This game manual, you get a better look at the blue shirt Bart, and everything seems about the same. You know, this is the PS2 version. The GameCube and Xbox versions are very slightly different. The controllers are pretty much, that's the only main difference about it. Here we have a Simpsons Road Rage model being used instead of the Simpsons Hit and Run model. And the Scrapbook font, very slightly different. The mission icons use 3D models, and I believe these are holdovers from either, I believe, the beta of the game. So we have one for Flanders. And down here we have an old model of Milhouse, and his eyeglasses are totally pitch black, kind of strange looking, as well as like an old race icon here. That's not the final race icon. Different Hit and Run font right here, and this map looks slightly different. Oh, there's 2 cars here, and then again another 3D model being used of Milhouse, which this is contradictory to this model of Milhouse because this Milhouse has different eyeglasses. This one doesn't. Oh, different mini-map too. Yeah, Marge icon being used, Milhouse icon. Layouts seem about the same, blah blah blah. And yeah, best season of Simpsons, by the way. And now we're moving on to layer 3. This point forward marks a turn where some of these entries are not properly documented anywhere online. And if you've known about every single entry so far, this layer might challenge that. The sawmill in level 3 and 6 has a strange oversight where instead of properly resetting, the log clips slightly through the ground. Just enough that if your car is at the right angle, it will clip inside the car and you'll get launched really high up. Kearney's shirt in the overworld and in his icon is white, but when you get to Moe's Tavern in Weapons of Mass Delinquency, or otherwise, he has an orange shirt and his model is oversized. And in Weapons of Mass Delinquency, the bar layout is slightly different. Wager races have 3 different difficulties: easy, medium, and hard. And despite the book burning van's pretty good stats, it's classified as a hard difficulty vehicle, making the book burning van have a specific niche of probably being the best way to get coins in the game that isn't the level 3 and 6 coin room. Hidden in plain sight, there is an untextured vent behind the back of the elementary school. It's kind of hard to set up, you kind of have to hit at the right angle, but you can get up to the top of the roof really quickly. And this is present in all levels. The rooftop of the Quickie Mart has this weird bug where if you jump out of it at a certain angle, the ambient track playing on top will keep going even when you're on the ground. This is true for level 1, 4, and 7.
Chest pain! Having chest pain!
Okay, I'm not really sure where to start on this one. First of all, you can't fit your car through it, which is counterintuitive because you're supposed to get a wrench. Second of all, even if you did get your car through it, you're just gonna hit the wall. It's something that it's hiding in plain sight. Once you think about it, it's just very strange that it's there. And to continue with this, I think the intended shortcut where you go through the grass up above the gas station and out, even when I was a kid, I never used this shortcut. I was aware of its existence, but there's no reason to just not go down the stairs, switch back, and go out through the glass. So the pelicans in level 3 is another example of objects that if you destroy them, then they are gone forever. Even if you reset, they are totally gone. It just adds to that mystique of the game seeming to be less lifelike the more you play it, because less and less set pieces are there, like cola machines and some props. When inside the DMV, the bus just crashes just directly above you. But if you go outside, the bus is way further out than it should be. The crashed vehicle is where the bus probably should be while you're inside the DMV. On the mission Bart and Frink, once you reach Chief Wiggum, Snake will start driving off. What's interesting is that this snake will drive around the entirety of level 2 forever, without stopping. For some baffling reason, on the PC version, there is a missing cola machine by the tire fire at this odd shack. It can't be just me who thinks these things are functionally invisible. Like, I've never gone up and actually interacted with these things. And with the cola machine not even there, it even makes them more so just props there that you don't even really are consciously aware of. They are just there. This is why I have the convenience to go back and correct this, because I thought that Ninja Bart was the last chronological reference in this game. It turns out it's one of the Aztec theater signs. 6 Bridges for 7 Brothers, Season 13, Episode 12, and I believe that is the last reference in this game, which puts it at February 24th, 2002, and that's more than a year out from when the game finally released. And while we're on the topic of the signs of the Aztec movie theater, all of those signs are completely random. As soon as you load into the level, there's a different title every single time. I don't think this is properly documented online as to what are the chances or what are the titles, but I spent a good 25 minutes trying to find that one for the previous entry, and I couldn't. So there is a lot of these floating around there. Man, it's crazy, because I literally discovered this as I was getting footage for that previous entry. Like, literally, I just forgot this was a thing. Actually, I don't even know if I never knew this was a thing to begin with. Well, I'm not going to sit here and play Spot the Difference for 10 hours over the cutscene differences. It is interesting to see what the major differences are between the actual game and the cutscenes. The intro movie gets the Simpsons house pretty much 100% of where it is in the base game. A couple things to note though is that the garage is totally open and there's a lot of bushes that are missing. There seem to have been bikes, I guess. And the house towards the right is just completely missing. So it seems that the Duff Brewery itself was moved way more forward, and because of that, there are a bunch of boxes that got cut. The beer towers were way taller in the cutscenes. The trucks have a different model, and there's a lot of props missing. And on the platform the aliens come out of, there's boxes in the final game. And in the final cutscenes, there's just a million small differences. We would be here forever if we dissected that one. So, the Manor Pool shortcut in level 4 is accessible in level 1. You can't really access it easily. You have to either fail a jump or jump over the fence or something. It's kind of just there. The vibe I feel from it in level 1 is you're not supposed to see it. It's literally just like a flat water texture. In level 4 it has crusty glass, and in level 1 it absolutely does not. I like the look of it in level 4. It looks lit up like it's actually a feature, but in level 1 it just looks unfinished. It's as if you're not supposed to be there, you know? Yeah, kind of a weird vibe. In level 2 and 3, there are Krusty Burgers with modeled interiors, which implies that you're supposed to be in there or something? I have no idea. They're definitely left over from earlier stage of development. My theory, however, is that you were supposed to order food from the squeaky voiced teen, but this never got realized and these are just holdovers. And now we're moving on to layer 4. These entries are going to require even more explanation and are even more obscure than the previous layers. On the mission Nerd Race Queen, if you enter the android's dungeon and then leave and then go out, you'll see a pretty easily spotted out of bounds mission marker. This is because the android's dungeon is technically stored outside of the map and the mission marker does not get unloaded. And a similar sight can be found on this part of the Sea Spanker. Set to Kill has 2 parts of the mission. The first part where you must break all the laser gun stands, and the second part where you must return back to Krusty Lou Studios. The second timer begins when you smash the last laser gun stand. The timer is 50 seconds long, which means that you have 50 seconds to get back to Krusty Lou Studios. This 50-second timer is the reason why Set to Kill is so difficult, because you have to drive perfectly for those 50 seconds. However, you do not have to collect all the laser gun stands in order. So this means you can actually skip a couple of the laser stands to hopefully save some time coming back. Because the 50-second timer only triggers when the last laser stand is collected, which creates a game of cat and mouse where you try to be as efficient as possible on the first timer to save as much time where the time really matters on the second timer. If they had just made it that the 50 seconds gets added to your current time when you collect the last stand, this would not be a problem. And you want to know what's interesting? In the beta for Simpsons Hit and Run, this second timer is not even present, which implies that this was not play tested properly, or they forgot to make it so that the timer adds instead of replaces your current timer. One small oversight made this mission into arguably the hardest mission in the entire game. You know, in the grand scheme of things, there's really not a lot of running in the Simpsons Hit and Run. There's some platforming, but it's mostly driving. Now, some missions, under some circumstances, you can walk the entirety of. For example, in Clueless, you have to enter a vehicle to activate the checkpoint, but the actual mission timer is not even present when you're on foot. So, you can walk across the entirety of level 3, and before a checkpoint, get into a car, and then hop out, talk to Milhouse, walk across the entirety of the map again, get in the car, talk to Milhouse, and boom. This topic could have its entire own video, but I found that a surprising amount of the earlier missions can be completed once I strategized and gave them a couple attempts. The gags in the observatory in level 3 and 6 are really weird. When you go up to the window in level 3, it will play automatically. But in level 6, you are prompted to press the action button to trigger this cutscene. These gags especially do not look good. You can tell pretty quickly that these are not properly looped. As well as having weird layering going on. Like, what's going on with this clip? With them hovering over the cliff? It's weird. And I've played this game plenty of times, and I forget that these things are even here. Like, I remember these were a thing and how weird they are as I was getting footage for this video. And this is another instance of Orange Shirt Kearney. There is a considerable amount of differences between the photos used in the scrapbook versus the actual game itself. The photos shown for levels 2, 4, and 5 are pretty unremarkable. For the most part, they're identical to the final game. However, the others look completely different. For the photo used in level 1, there seemed to have been a lot more trees, as well as a completely different placement of the Evergreen Terrace sign. It seems that the photo used in level 3 had a completely different layout of the map. This looks like the entranceway to Squidport was a lot more condensed. The same is true of the level 6 photo. The Squidport layout is also completely different, and buildings have completely different placement, whilst also not matching the layout of the level 3 photo. In the level 7 photo, the school bus, which is normally by the playground, is out front, and the lighting is completely different. Car duplication is a glitch where if you complete a mission where you are forced in a different car and cancel it, during the fade out, the car that you spawned the mission with will be spawned again. So you can stack this as many times as you want. In this clip, this is the easiest way to set it up. You can just repeat this process over and over, completing the mission, canceling it, and getting another duplicate car. Hidden in plain sight, there is a very easy way to get completely out of bounds in level 3 and 6. This small, unassuming house on the docks does not have proper collision on the left side of it, meaning you can jump over, walk across, and you're outside of the map boundaries. It is that simple. So in level 2 and 5, at the parking lot near the stadium, there are a bunch of car props. Now what's interesting is that if you happen to, let's say, clip outside or explode your vehicle next to these props behave very strangely. And the car models themselves are old versions of the pedestrian cars in level 2. They've just been recycled, reused as props. These objects were obviously never meant to be interacted with, but they still have collision that they work with explosions and being kicked. There are a lot of broken traffic circuits in this game. For example, one that's hiding in plain sight. Level 1 has a broken traffic circuit just immediately. Like, it's right there. The traffic just doesn't go anywhere. And dude, level 2, they're just everywhere. Like, if you just sit there for long enough, you'll just find them. I mean, dude, just look at this shit. There's a part of the map by the casino on level 3 where there is just straight up never any traffic there ever. I'm inclined to say that traffic was supposed to go down and touch the boardwalk, but they just never programmed it on either side. These traffic breaks are just hidden in plain sight everywhere in every single map. I find it funny it took me this long to notice this was a thing, because mission to mission, you don't really notice any of this stuff, but if you sit down for 5 minutes, it's like, oh, that traffic doesn't work properly. In layer 4 to 5, we're going to get really in-depth. All these topics could have their own standalone video. Actually, matter of fact, if a certain topic especially interests you, let me know, because I may be able to turn these into more in-depth videos if anyone is really that autistically fixated on these subjects like I am. Anyway, here we go. Layer 5. If this has happened to anyone else, please let me know in the comments, because it can't just be me who had this when they were a kid. I can taste it right now. I know exactly how the Krusty Burger tastes in my mouth. The texture, I just know it. The taste, it's kind of too sweet. The cheese is very bland. It has a sort of, when you're done chewing it, it sort of tastes like a Hot Pocket. It's sort of processed, industrial, but delicious at the same time. Too sweet though, but sometimes that's nice. I feel like this is a thought I've had since I was, I don't know how many years old. Like, I just know what it tastes like. I can still taste it beyond just the description. I know what it tastes like. I felt like I've ate it. I felt like I've ate it before. Maybe I was in a dream. I had a dream one time where I ate the Krusty Burger, and I know what it tastes like because I had a dream where I tasted it. And seeing the game, it's like, oh, well, I just know what it is. So let me know, please, because I don't think this is just me. For reference, I have played every single version of this game: GameCube, the PS2, the Xbox, and PC. And not once did I bat an eye that this lemonade stand was there when I played it on PC. I thought this was just there the entire time. It's very bizarre that the developers would only leave this in a single version when this is probably one of the first things you'll see in the game. And it's so innocuous that you think it was just there the entire time. It's like the Pelicans in level 3 and the missing cola machine in level 1. It's a version-specific object that gets deleted once you destroy it, and then it's just gone forever. This icon of the playground at the elementary school has a spinner that is not present in the final game. That is because this spinner is an almost complete but still unused gag. This implies that that gag made it pretty far into development, as the icon has a picture of it in the final game, but that is not present. So let's take a look at it. And look at that, it's not even at the playground. This is the original spot of the unused gag. But then why does the icon reference this part of the map? It has a spinner, it has a slide, and it has a tree. Was this just reused to save time? Yeah, probably. But still, it's an interesting piece of history. My theory, however, is that this gag was removed and replaced by the lemonade stand. I have no proof of this, it's just an idea that I have, and I think I'm right. The 100% game completion cutscene, the Itchy and Scratchy 500 meter gash, has an alternative version that was present in the beta. What you're watching is the version that was in the final game, and this is the beta version. Everything is the exact same, except he has a far more detailed heart and bone structure and organs, and they reused this shot a couple times in the beta. And this podium shot is completely different than the one in the final game. My only theory as to why this would be changed is because the heart graphics probably look a little bit too realistic for teen, you know, cartoon violence. But that's me just speculating. In my rough estimation, level 1 takes place from around 7 to 9, level 2, 10 to 12, level 3, 5 to 7, level 4, 6 to 8, level 5, 6 to 7, level 6, 6 to 7, and level 7, 8 to 9. This is purely just based off of the fact that the sun seems to be setting in every single skybox. However, if we factor in the idea of light pollution being a factor in these skyboxes, then each level would be taking place around 2 or so hours after each other. This theory fixes a continuity error where it seems that the levels past level 4 all seem to be taking place around the same-ish time, and not in a linear progression. Which leads into another idea that all levels are taking place within the same day. The idea is that the game actually happens in a single day period, and the newspapers are merely just playing catch up. Well, this theory is good food for thought. I think just light pollution makes way more sense than the whole game taking place in a single day. That's my counter argument anyway. It still doesn't explain the bizarre pacing of level 5 to 6 where apparently an entire day has gone by, but Apu and Bart are still talking to each other. That one doesn't really make sense.
Apu, you've got to help me warn Krusty about this alien plot and thus save the good people of Springfield.
I'm sorry, sir, but I cannot speak English. I only speak Hindi.
But you're speaking English now.
Yes, I learned these words phonetically.
Well, you're just scared of being vaporized by the space monsters.
This topic especially could have its own video dedicated to it. Multiples, in fact. If you were around when this game came out, there are so many small differences that you could see happening in real time when the game was in development versus when it finally came out. What you're seeing is just a smattering of screenshots and images and stuff that you would be able to actually see sort of the development happening in real time. Just this whole topic is just fucking crazy, especially if you're really into this shit like I am. Some highlights is that the icons actually use 3D models instead of cartoons. And a lot of road rage models were actually used either as placeholders or were intended to be in the final game, as well as the HUD going through many changes. And the lighting and props of many levels is just totally different. And this IGN pre-release video shows a lot of these little small changes in action. And in addition to the gameplay, the level 1 cutscenes look completely different. They use a lot of Simpsons road rage models and are animated quite strangely. And just imagine seeing the shock of these pre-release videos and seeing them in the final game. It's pretty jarring in retrospect, but I couldn't imagine it happening then. And here we are, at the home stretch, the final layer. And if you're a real hardcore fan of this game, I think you'll appreciate these last entries. They're pretty... well, let me just shut up and talk about them. So there's a couple curious things about the level 6 secret car, the unfunny pink car as some would call it. For one, in level 3, you can see the cracking on the side when there's not even anything supposed to be there. And the level 3 scrapbook photo that is in the final game shows the level 6 secret car was supposed to be in level 3. But as it turns out, there is an unused gag, and the uncanny valley on this thing is really up there. This is Mole Man in the Cadillac. This cut gag would explain why there is remnants to the level 6 secret car in level 3, but it's not present. But what doesn't make sense is why this made it so far into development, with traces of it in the final game, and why the car was moved to level 6 entirely. That we do not know, and I could not find any resource for this online beyond just that it exists. This entry harkens back to a simpler time, before the internet and when playground rumors ran amok. The year is 2009. I'm in the 2nd grade summer camp at the YMCA and I'm hating every second of it. And my friend Elijah, out of sheer boredom, tells me that he has a 100% complete save game, and he tells me that there's a secret purple dinosaur car that has all the stats in the game. However, he claimed that he had not saved the game and lost the file. So fast forward to 2016, where I start speedrunning this game, and I come to the realization that that was a total lie, and yet I had believed him. For many, many years, I was under the impression there was a purple dinosaur car with all stats that you got if you complete the game 100%. And there's something just so, I can't really describe it, but it just makes me feel happy that one kid could lie to another kid, and that kid believes him for many, many years, and is disappointed when that lie is completely folded in front of his face. So this was my playground rumor. Plausible enough that you could think it exists, but dumb enough to question it. I'm not really sure how to phrase this, but logistically speaking, I'm sure a lot of young children, myself included, played this game when they were, kids. And I can't be the only one who was scared shitless of level 7. But yet, as I grew older, it became less and less scary, and the game became more and more enjoyable. It can't possibly just be me who has literally grown up with this game and went from being scared shitless in level 7 to enjoying the aesthetics of it and approaching the game totally different. It can't just be me that, this game has left such an impact that, X amount of years later you're making a 40-minute long video about the most niche subjects possible. So this entry really is just a stand-in for being a little kid, growing up with the game, and then liking it even more. So yeah, let me know. This was surprisingly wholesome. Now here's a theory that I guarantee, and I've looked, I've not seen anywhere online. And here's how it goes. There's a gag in level 2 of the Legitimate Businessman Social Club where you foil a fucking rat milking operation. This is in reference to a Simpsons episode where Fat Tony, in an effort to cut costs, uses rat milk instead of cow milk. And in level 5, the operation is there no more. It's been totally cleaned up. So fast forward to level 6, and we have a bonus mission where we must destroy a milk truck for Snake. Now, the logo on the side of the milk truck bears a striking resemblance to Squeaky Farms brand Genuine Animal Milk, which is Fat Tony's front company. This would imply this genuine undulant milk is in fact rat milk. And not only that, since we have destroyed this rat milking operation, this milk is most likely spoiled. So we are doing a service destroying this fucking thing. And we saved the best for last. Get your tinfoil hats on, folks. We're gonna be here for a while. So, in level 1, we're trying to find out what the hell's up with these black vans taking pictures of everyone. Mr. Burns clearly isn't in on it, so it has to be something else. And no one seems to be driving these surveillance camera vans. And to add to this, the surveillance van and the pizza van have completely different models, albeit very suspiciously similar looking. This would imply the Black Van Pizza Delivery Company is not at fault here, and someone else is using their likeness to actually surveil on people. And then to add to this weirdness, Bart gets abducted by aliens, and no one knows where he is. Except they do. Why was Bart being shuffled around so much? It seems that he was in these chase sedans at one point, judging by the lucky red hat that was on the ground. And better yet, why was the Springfield Police Department involved in seemingly abandoning Bart, letting him go on top of the sea spanker and trying to drive away? So Bart gets abducted, and then is fed cola that makes him crazy. It seems Bart getting dropped off at the sea spanker was a way for him to not be in the public reach for a while. And this seems to imply that the Springfield Police Department are in on it. And by the time Marge is investigating what's going on, Chief Wiggum is already brainwashed by this cola, being even more aggressive. And in level 5, we learn through Snake that the cola is being made in the Springfield Natural History Museum as a cover-up. And when we confront the curator, there's no one driving the curator car? That's weird. So the surveillance vans, the chase sedans, and the curator have all been uninhabited this entire time? Well, anyways. And in a level 5 cutscene we see Kang and Kodos up to no good. Just hanging out, living, and making evil cola. And using all these cameras to get ratings for their show, Foolish Earthlings. Or are they? Throughout level 6, a bunch of laser guns are distributed throughout the squid port, and Bart foils it. And they race an unmanned sedan back to the Duff Brewery to foil their plot. It's revealed this evil alien cola has already entered the water supply and is waking up the dead. So Professor Frank connives a way to deal with this alien threat. And along the way, while they're trying to thwart this alien invasion, there are men in suits in black cars trying to stop them. And throughout all these nuclear waste runs, they are stopping at nothing to foil your plot to destroy this alien invasion. So let's start putting these pieces together. Fake pizza vans disguised as surveil people? Check. Local police departments being brainwashed or bribed to further your agenda? Keeping your agenda and conspiracy under wraps? Check. Keeping your resources and actors hidden out of the way? Check. Causing mass panic to distract from the narrative? Check. And what do these aliens even want, other than a massive nationwide system of surveillance? So maybe the CIA and the aliens are working with each other for mutually beneficial outcomes. Just saying. Just throwing it out there. Just, you know. Whew. Alright. Fuck. Finally done. Yeah, that took a long time to do. I've been meaning to do this video for like years. I mean like years, but it's never really had time to do it, so it's nice that it's finally done. I get to not think about it anymore. And there's a lot of stuff I really wanted to cover, but it just didn't fit the video, or there wasn't nearly enough substance on it, or it didn't really mesh with the video. The original vibe I had was that you would be able to know the majority of these entries by just playing the game a lot, like a lot. So I delved into the stuff that was like the cutting room floor. Shouts to them, by the way. They carried a lot of this video, but I tried to use them like as infrequently as possible. But they really carried the latter half of this video, just because the resources for stuff like you're not gonna be able to find a lot of like the beta content, but it's really interesting to talk about. Yeah, shit, that's it. Fuck, finally done. Cool, yeah. Yeah, hey, I'm done. Cool beans. Thank you for watching. I'm out.